from the College by the Lake, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Local, regional, national, and international guests discussing the issues and topics affecting the way you live are on Forum, the North Idaho College Public Forum, with your host and moderator, political scientist Tony Stewart.
On behalf of the staff of the North Idaho College Public Forum, I would like to wish all of you a wonderful holiday season. We know that you are now at the point of celebrating and being home with your family. And so we thought this week we would bring you a very, very special treat that would allow us to enter your home in this celebration mode. We have a very, very distinguished group to perform for you today. I want to welcome to our public forum the Eastern Washington University ensemble, a percussion ensemble group. And I'm very pleased to introduce Martin Zakowski, who is the director and is very distinguished in his work. Martin, you've been with us at North Idaho College, and we've been delighted to have you there. And we were so impressed, we wanted to take this holiday season to have you on our program and share you with the viewers in the various states where we go. First of all, I would like for you to tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you're a graduate of the University of Michigan, and you have performed in a number of capacities, and share that with our viewers.
Well, that's true. First of all, it's just a joy to be here as part of this program. I graduated from the University of Michigan in 1967-68, and immediately was employed at Eastern Washington University as instructor of percussion back then. And I founded and started the percussion ensemble program, which really didn't exist until that time. Also, since 1968, I've been principal timpanist with the Spokane Symphony Orchestra and the Sandpoint Festival Orchestra in Sandpoint, Idaho, and the Bach Festival Orchestra as well.
Now tell us about your award-winning Eastern Washington University Percussion Ensemble. They've performed many places, and as I said, at North Idaho College, our audience received them with great warmth.
Well, there's just a wonderful group of young performers, and they're so talented, both collectively and individually. Past groups have won the Western States Percussive Arts Society competition, both on mallet, keyboard, and percussion ensemble categories. We have individuals in the group who have won national competitions sponsored by the Music Educators National Conference, the Music Teachers National Association, and in fact, 2 of those national winners will be performing for you on the program today.
We're just so fortunate to have you here in the group, and I want to get into the music, and at the end of the program, if we have time, we'll deal with some more details about your wonderful group. But ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure on behalf of the Public Forum to introduce to you the Eastern Washington University Percussion Ensemble under the directorship of Martin Zakowski. Well, Martin, that was absolutely wonderful. I know that our audience that is home and they're in the holiday mood enjoyed that wonderful music of the Eastern Washington University Percussion Ensemble. I forgot to tell our viewers at the beginning of the program that you have entitled today's program Celebration of Sound. You and I talked on the phone a number of times, and I know you've given a lot of thought and dedication to helping us celebrate the season. Tell us how you selected this particular numbers and why it was a celebration of sound.
Well, it was actually quite easy because most of the music we usually program celebrates something, and as we discussed this holiday season, we thought it'd be appropriate to pick music from various cultures that celebrated the season or just celebrated the joy of living. A couple of the pieces, the very first one on the program, Bana, is a North African contemporary piece that was written about 15, 20 years ago and was heard on some of the radio stations in Ghana. And it simply is a story of a young man all dressed up in his finest on the way to a dance. And he just wants to kill them dead, as the song says, with his fabulous dancing ability. And it's just the pure joy and exuberance of living and being young and youthful. Several of the other pieces, for example, Chipanwe is simply a children's song, again from Ghana, and it celebrates children on their way to school, just passing the time together, singing this very, very simple song of can't wait to go to school.
As all children do in all societies.
Of course.
Music's part of their life.
Absolutely. And the great joy we have is discovering instruments that we have discovered through various workshops by visiting professors from around the world and acquiring new instruments for our students and myself to learn on. So that is part of the celebration also, is just learning to celebrate how others celebrate on their instruments and express their joy through song and dance. And then finally, the very last number that we performed, which was called Fanfare Beijing, which was written by Dave Jarvis, by the way, composer and percussion teacher at Washington State University, a good friend of ours. And he wrote this as a very meaningful, sort of an ode to freedom, if you will, a celebration of freedom, which was inspired by the Tiananmen Square revolt in 1989. So it both reflects fear and anguish and the great joy of celebrating a precious moment of freedom for which they express themselves through the music you heard.
You do a number of concerts with this group, and then you individually are involved in others. As you go through an academic year with your group, and of course it changes as students graduate, you must just really have a difficult time choosing among all the wonderful choices. And do you vary that from year to year? And as you get to know the particular group you're working with, does that also influence your choices?
Absolutely. We try to assess the talent level we have any given academic year, the particular strengths and weaknesses of any group of youngsters you have before you. And I've been fortunate in the last probably 10 years in that we've had such talent at the university. It's just a matter of me looking at all this vast array of wonderful new music and music written even 10 years ago for percussion orchestra, if you will. Some of the students in the group actually compose wonderful pieces of percussion writing themselves, and this is how they gain experience actually writing for this medium, because most of the music written for percussion orchestra, although a few pieces were written in the 1930s, late 1930s, has happened. It's like a great renaissance of music for percussion as a featured section of the world, musically speaking, all in the last 15, 20 years. So there's never a dull moment. There's always plenty of wonderful music to select from, and we just can never find enough rehearsal time, frankly, to enjoy working on all the music we'd like to.
In addition to our leisure time, in which we have lots of music for all occasions, weddings and sad times in life, such as memorial services and so forth, music is an integral part of our life. I've always asked this question to people in your position of expertise. Why is music so special to us? We do a lot of writing in society, we speak and do all of those things, but music has had, it crosses all lines. In the civil rights movement, music was very important. Why is that so?
Well, I guess it just touches a chord in all of humanity. No words need to be exchanged. All one has to do is listen to a beautiful melody by Mozart, Stravinsky, any great composer from the classical or jazz or popular or folk idiom, and people are expressing something very personal to them through their music. And I think the honesty of that, the integrity of that, is what makes it so meaningful throughout all cultures.
We don't have a whole lot of time left, and in a few minutes we're going to have some more music as we go off the air, but we have viewers that are wondering about where you might be performing. And I know this is running near the end of December. Can you tell us about some concerts?
Well, yes, we have a Soundscapes concert that we participate in, which is usually the final concert at Eastern Washington University every November. And then we have coming up Winter Quarter, our annual Drums of Winter concert. And that's where we really get into what we call contemporary percussion music, which is very, very challenging and very, very unusual. And then we end the season in the spring with our annual Mallet Madness performance, which is a lighter percussion pops concert, if you will. Perhaps some music by students, student composers, and inviting different high school groups and other university groups occasionally to perform.
And the Information Center at Eastern Washington University would have all those details.
Absolutely.
If anyone
Yes.
would like to contact the university and,
Yes.
and get more details or parts of the program. Again, I promised the viewers that as we end our celebration today, we would have you to introduce your group once again. And also the good news is you'll be back next week to help us celebrate the new year.
Yes.
With that, would you introduce them, Martin?
Sure. We'd like to just close with a traditional, going back like thousands of years, this tune and rhythm, if you will, from Nigeria is just a rhythm of celebration. So what better way to end our program with the Eastern Washington University Percussion Ensemble. And we're playing on Cuban drums, Nigerian drums, and Ghanaian drums. So we have it all in this final selection.